Oh, good.
All right, it's 4 o'clock. We'll call to order the Board of Water Commissioners meeting of the town of Kingston. Signed all our bills. We have full rounds of minutes to approve.
I move we approve the minutes of September 9th as published.
We do both together, or we?
Do them separately, it's just easier.
So we have a motion for September 9th. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Second, and approved.
Move to approve the minutes of September 23rd as published.
Do you have a second? Approved as well. Our first appointment is Glenn Friolo from Martin Realty. You want to join us here? Introduce yourself for people who might be on Zoom, all one of them.
Glenn Friolo, 117 Wapping Road, 106. Adjusting.
Glenn, can you just speak into the speaker?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, just to be easier.
Sure. It would just address the comments from the engineer and look at the feedback and see what you guys are with it. In reading this, I noticed your engineering firm is recommending something less than what the specification of the water pump has now for all pipes to be a minimum of 12 inch. Understanding some of the issues, the reason that we adopted the 12 inch minimum pipe size was so that as we move forward, or the town moves forward from today and into the future, that we have mains installed that will accommodate the future needs of the town. To downsize, mains in the future, it can impact what happens in the future. My recommendation is to this board, and in talking with the superintendent, is basically to require that the install a minimum of 12-inch main. Cost of the mains between 8 and 12 isn't really substantially different. The cost is really digging the hole if you're gonna put it in. You're digging the hole anyway.
Yeah, no, the cost isn't even the main issue. I mean, my opinion from the beginning was like, you've got a 10-inch main that we're gonna tie into, when we adjust the dates and everything, so 3 days, everything's addressed that way. When we do subdivisions, future use in a subdivision, especially that one, I mean, there's no room to add on to it. It's squeezed in there, but you're coming off a 10-inch main to an 8-inch main, and we've done miles of, water. And I understand, I know you're gonna say that's another town, but I understand, I'm just saying, we've always come off like a 12-inch main to an 8-inch main for a subdivision and looped back out. And my opinion, and the engineer kind of agreed, and that's why we even talked about it. I thought the opposite. You're coming off a 10-inch main, going up to a 12-inch main. I would think it would work the opposite for you, because I just feel, you've got the. I see if you lose pressure on the main out on the street, and one way of doing it is a flow test. I mean, if a flow test showed that the 8-inch main more than meets it, and it's never going to be addressed in any other part of the town where you'd be adding on to it or this or that, what purpose does the 12-inch main do?
But as we go forward, as the town goes forward, there was cement asbestos pipes that are now 10-inch should be replaced. If that was being replaced, it would go from a 10 to either a 12 or a 16.
Okay.
So what we're saying, as new developments come on, we need to plan for not only what it's there today,
Right.
but so as we move forward, the town moves forward in the future. If we're going from a 10 cement asbestos, which really is, it's not the end of its useful age, but it's getting to the point where we're going to have to start thinking about replacing cement asbestos pipes that have been in the ground for 40, 50 years. As we do that, and because the town has grown, we will increase the size of the mains that we're installing, which means that we'll go from a 10 to either a 12 or a 16, depending on what our engineer ultimately says is the best for the town as a whole. That's the only reason I'm really.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand that aspect of it, and I apologize. My engineer was coming, He's stuck in Florida, just like it.
Oh, man, I feel sorry for him.
He's going to be back, so you guys got me tonight, okay?
Hope he doesn't get sunburned.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something where you get wet.
Your concern was going from the smaller main to a larger main, do you have pressure loss? Is that
I
what the
just,
question
like I
is?
say, I just talking to people, and it's not where it is now, I just feel like you're charging that main
Mhm.
with a 10-inch main, and then you're doing a 1,000-foot loop that's coming out, you know?
Yeah.
I think it would work, and this was my question to him in the beginning, because it didn't make a lot of sense to me, because it's like when you have pressure on another pipe, you got a hose and you downgrade the size to get the pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The
So-
reverse you would think that.
Right, so I think we're thinking that we're going the opposite way, and even if you upgrade your main to a 16, 12, whatever, the 8-inch main's more than sufficient to ever take care of 32 units on a subdivision, like this, that was my opinion, so he looked into it and he came back with the same thing, and I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I'm just here to talk to you and find out what you guys want so we can move forward, and I mean, I'm not, I'm not saying it's whatever you guys say we're gonna do.
Sure, but any of the other new growth that's gone on in town recently, all the expansion of the tall timbers, that's all been 12-inch. They've had to loop things around, and it's a small, similar dead end loop, what you're doing right now, and it's all 12-inch.
Yeah,
So it's a similar situation.
okay, well, like I say, that's just, it was just, that was my thought to begin with, and then, like I say, afterwards, he came back with kind of the same thing after he talked to. It's
Sure.
like more of a hydraulic thing, and he talked to people,
Yeah, you still haven't done a fire flow test up there, see what
Well, that's what I'm
your
saying. Once
friction
we
loss
do-
is gonna be
we
when you
do a
get to the
flow-
end.
yeah,
It's not
exactly.
just the size of the pipe for circulation, but it's in the size of the pipe for fire flow.
volume too, yeah,
You know,
but that's what
when
I'm
you have a
saying.
fire truck at the end, it's sucking water out of that pipe,
Mhm.
and these have to cavitate main, because that volume isn't in there that they're requiring because of the friction loss. That all comes into play for that, for the fire protection aspect.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, you said we can get a flow test on that, I don't do that when I do it, just like I said, even if we just left it open for discussion and we go back and forth, 'cause my whole, opinion on this is, once you guys approve the water or whatever for the subdivision, we have to build the subdivision to you guys' regs, whatever you tell us to do anyways, so it's not like, anytime we go to, I mean, we're, it's whatever they want, is what we're gonna give them, so it's, it doesn't matter, we tried to meet all your the comments were mine, there was nothing really, the separation on the street seems more than adequate,
Does Kristen have any comments?
Yeah, Stacy had sent me the revised drawing. And the one thing that jumped out to me is bringing in the pipe off of Wapping Road. It's now going, looks like behind 2 of the units and then goes between 2 of the units to get to the subdivision road. So just wanted to make sure that you guys saw that. And I think they were doing that to try to have the separation between all the service taps. It's complicates maintenance of that line to have it going behind and between homes.
We felt it was adequate the way it was with that separation, I still
Yeah,
do,
but
we were
it's
just trying to get more, that's all.
Is what Kristen's pointing out is that is typically when something like that is done, will require an easement to be recorded
Yeah,
for the access by the town of Kingston to get in there and maintain it,
Yeah.
should that be the case. So there has to be an easement, other contractors are in a similar situation, they need that separation on the 2 taps on the main,
Yeah.
but when they do it, whether it's a cross-country main, they make sure that easement is recorded, that
yeah,
the
we're
town
recording
has
these,
access to
yeah,
it.
exactly,
So
we
it has
have
to-
to.
What's the width of the easement that is a minimum that you require? And
I think most of them are 20 feet, with the pipe being in the center of it.
and those have to be recorded prior to the turning on of any of the water. We've had a couple where in the past, the
Things slip through the
easements get
cracks,
lost.
Yeah.
So we wanna make sure that, it's up front.
I mean, I feel the separation that we gave you to begin with is more than adequate to make a loop, and that kept it out on the road, and we didn't have to do that crazy thing through the houses. That was just trying to address, and I mean, they were just asking if we could bring it another way, and he looped it a little more. I felt coming out straight made more sense, myself, so the engineer said just. But I kind of always tell them, just do whatever they want to make them happy, so
Yeah,
I'm not paying them 10 times, that's
You gotta
all.
make it a true loop, at the end of the cul-de-sac where you came
We
up.
did, no, we
Yeah,
did,
yeah, it was tough to see because the set of drawings, it was real small.
Yeah, no, we did, and like I said, I think when you came down to the street, what we did just to get more separation was we cut that through and went towards the schoolhouse, you know? I feel keeping it where it was better, keeps it in the
Yeah,
road layout.
I think there wasn't an issue with the one coming up in the existing entrance.
Yeah.
To the property with the main entrance the junkyard previously was.
Right.
The question was the one further down heading back, like, outbound, eastbound on 106.
He's
back up
towards my other shop.
No,
He's
towards
the other
like
way.
Cumberland Farms.
So that one is in the back, okay, so that one's in the backyard, right?
Yes, I think we'd like to see one come down the main road,
Right, that's what we got now, right?
tapping by Ring Road in that area there, like,
Yeah,
whatever,
right.
right there. Then the other one that was depicted coming to the rear of those lots, if you're looking at the property, would be to the right side toward the power lines.
The one towards the power line is gonna come out straight down the backside of those
Yeah.
houses to the.
And you have to secure an easement for the town.
Do you do this?
Once that's- Is that the revised set of plans?
I don't know.
Yeah, so Chris,
Yes.
in addition to the one that they had going back behind all the properties, they revised the drawing so that where it connects into the new road, that's now going behind two of the houses and then between two of the houses. I think they did that to provide the separation between the taps. Remember how they had it all the taps were clustered together, like 4 taps in a cluster?
Yes, that was on the, like, what I would call the existing main entrance. The main.
Yeah, so that's what they changed. And I just wanted to make sure that you saw that because it complicates, it looks tight to me. It complicates going in between two of the units the way it is now.
Are we talking about services?
Yeah, so what
These services?
she's referencing this right here, and then I haven't seen the revised set of plans, because it's tiny. If you can get a full-size set of plans that submit, drop off us review, that'd be great. These are the original ones here, where it shows it coming in. So this tab here, if you see it goes up, and I guess you change the main to run behind these
Okay,
houses,
so
get
this
more
is the revised
separation.
set?
No,
August 25th, this is- Yeah, because these are services.
yeah, these are too close together. That's like taking a piece of perforated paper, it's just gonna split and pull the pipe out.
Yeah.
Need
Well,
more
we just,
separation.
yeah, I
between
mean, he
those.
draws it like that, but when we
And
tap the
it's-
main, we always separate.
It's not ideal separate, here, because we want it to be able to be like left unit, right unit, tapped out in front of it. Tapped out here and not the spaghetti circles running through there.
We're limited to what we can do to keep away from the septic system, so, I mean, these taps on the main, I know what you're saying about spaghetti and this, that, I know. Paper or shredded, when we come out here, he's drawing this straight, but when we tie into a main, we just do our 5-foot separation, because it's in the road layout, and when we get back onto the property, we run the lines up, because they're not private then. So when we're out in the road layout here, we just do our separation right along that line.
Yeah, if you could clean this up and drop us off a full set of drawings, it would show more clearly. I mean, that just, there's a lot going on right there. It's just a blue blob, you can even differentiate, there's a valve there.
Yeah, he's just showing first off, but what I'm saying to you is coming like to meet the septic setbacks and everything, we have to get lines through a certain area, and once we get out here, tying into your main, not the
But
private.
the reality is, we like the plan to show what your reality is.
Well, he says this isn't the revised one. so-
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys must have,
Yeah.
do you have the?
I didn't-
the revised one?
All I get was on a piece of
All we
sheet of
got
paper
was
like
something
this.
emailed to us that I can't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was so, I couldn't even zoom in to clean it up.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah,
See,
you know that, I thought you
If
dropped
we
that.
get a set of
No,
drawings
yeah.
like that, it's better for us to
Okay.
review and
Yeah,
mark up. I mean, when I get a sheet of paper that's,
yeah, but I guess what I'm just trying to say, just so we're clear on this part of it, and we get to, when we're in the road layout on the main, whatever separation you guys want, we're gonna separate them, we're gonna come into the lots, and they'll be marked out where you want.
yeah, we just need to get it on paper to get approved for construction.
Yeah, and this is, like I say, we are limited to how we can come through the septic stream.
Yeah, whether it's you have to adjust the alignment to the septic system for the water or, how do you?
We don't, this is tight, there's no adjustment on the septic, so we, like I said, we gotta make our 10-foot separation. And like I said, once we get into the road layout, it's common area, with easement to the town going right through it, so we can meet separation however you want, like, sure, it comes straight through. If there's 4 services and it's 5, it's 20, it's coming into this main at 20 feet, shows that's showing at 10,
Then just so we can scale it off on a set of
Yeah.
plans. If you're trying to stay out of the driveway, maybe that's not an option. You won't be able to stay out of the driveway.
No,
You
well,
have
we
to
can't,
run
because
in
we're
front.
over this side, you know what I mean, you got this much money to time. A lot of times on like condos are the same thing, you know, we build condos. We're tight, so we're coming into the main and tighter area, you know, so we just do the separation whenever the town requires, and we're coming into the main and then branch out. Get away, you know.
I hate to do this, but I think we need to make sure that we get a full-size set of plans that Chris can look at, Kristen can look at, so that when we're approving this, we're approving it as it's laid out on plans that each one of us can understand. I understand, you understand what they're saying.
Oh, yeah, no,
But until we have something that we can
right.
justify approving, I
Yeah, and
think.
that's fine, because like I said, I mean, to be honest, with you, I don't go through this a lot, because most towns, we submit a subdivision plan, and then we're just told to follow their regs. The plan is just, the water line is just drawn as, like, just like the rest of the utilities on the property. You know, so we're not used to going through that portion. This is the first time I've actually done it for water, to be honest with you, so. But, and I have no problem doing whatever you want that.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to do, I've been dragging my feet over there, because I want to make sure I'm all set, so when I'm moving forward, I'm not drawing another set of plans, you know?
Again, have your engineers talk to Chris and Kristen.
Yeah.
Get us a set of plans that they're comfortable with,
Yeah.
that we can look at and understand, and they can understand, and we can move forward.
There are experts that we look through that, they're looking after just the town. You're looking after yourself, I get that.
Oh, no, but they should have already had this back then, they should have got back to us and said, hey, we need a bigger set of plans, we need some set.
Well, normally we would get a full time.
Well, no, you
Like
got,
you
you
dropped
got,
off
you got
this
an
side,
email
yeah.
over on revision, so we're doing a revision and answering comments, so when you answer comments, you say you're gonna do X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z, and they say, okay, you put them on the plan and we're good. That's what I'm saying, if I had heard back from them, you know, when they got the revisions, cause I've stayed on them about getting them, you know?
Yeah.
So once they review it again, they should be calling us and saying, yeah, just give us a full set of plans, we want these couple things addressed, and then we have it, and, you know, back and forth, but it's fine, I mean, Bob will be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll have him.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Weather
I
permitting.
think he'll be good, but,
Moving along here to comment number 2, with the triple gated requirement.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, I'm gonna push you on requiring triple gate, because the disruption that can cause in the system to cut in the triple gate. I'm thinking,
that's why we drew it the other way, you know.
yeah,
Chris,
but
we
I may
talked,
look
you know.
and see where we have gates situated in that area. We may be able to isolate things by the old schoolhouse and Ring Road. I think it's triple gated kind of in there. If we do a small shutdown and do 2 triple gated that tap, but then further up, do that other tap.
So, yeah, the only reason why we drew it is that was the talk.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said, well, however you guys want that, we're gonna just.
But if it's gonna be severely disruptive to the system to do a shutdown,
Right,
you know, and do that twice is very disruptive to the system, especially on that side of town. You know, we may look to do just one set of triple gates, that way you have that redundancy for circulation if need be.
yeah, what would you want, the triple gate probably at the entrance of the thing, and then the other one on Ring Road side, well, depending on where your gates are, right?
I'm thinking, what I can recall, from institutional knowledge, that we'd probably look to put a triple gate right back where your entrance is now,
Okay,
and then where that loop would come in would be a tapping step.
that makes sense.
I'd be willing to work beyond on that, just because of disruption. of the
That's what we
system.
usually push for.
I got a question.
Sure.
I've been around a pump. Where the hell is the old schoolhouse?
That's the crooked building that
In
is
the woods, it looks like a fort.
at the cross where Moxie's was. It's, you know, where the house
Closest to
was,
Keller.
Yeah.
the house was that had the fire 2 years ago. In between that and where his shop is now, there's an old schoolhouse.
Oh,
Just a
okay.
big square, it's gonna be maybe 20 by 30, 25 by
Okay.
35,
Okay.
single room.
Yeah, so and everybody wanted that old shithole saved, so I said I'd save it. We'll just renovate it, we'll do a little, you know, shit.
Okay. No.
Yeah. But,
Ping pong tables.
So like, I think we can, you know, have some more room to, you know, refine the triple gate
Yeah.
aspect of things,
Yeah.
and work with you some on that. And that'll make it,
and if you could, like I said, when you're looking at something like this, I don't, I thought this was the revised plan. I thought he sent you a full set, so I thought they were just here, or I would grab a set. Once you look at that, and if you tell me which is more important to you, like having the main make sense and come out like here and there, and not. go
Yeah, then
through
that's what Chris was talking about. Correct, Chris, that you were talking where all those, like 4 or 5 services real tightly clustered there at the entrance by the ring road. What we're trying to call their existing entrance. That's where the new plans showed a main going behind the houses.
Yes, yeah, that's what they're showing.
Do you have the paper copy? That's just that small piece.
I printed it off and it was even worse.
Yeah,
I was starting to zoom in on the computer.
I'm gonna see if I have it online. I'm not sure right now. But I'm just saying if we can, if you just tell me which you would rather the separation or having that lane go through the building. I think we were like 295 feet here, and even that for a loop, the pole is fine, you know. I mean, I don't know which is more important to you, you know. I'm just trying to see if sorry, I would have brought that up.
And then further up in the cul-de-sac, I don't recall what the, well, it was tough to depict it on that drawing of how you change that loop.
We ended
in the
up
cul-de-sac.
going all the way up and around. So we ended up bringing the main all the way up and back down. So it's a tree loop all the way to the back of the buildings.
Okay, all the way up the main
All the
road,
way up, yeah.
and then you go around the cul-de-sac and,
Yeah, we came all the way to the end of the cul-de-sac and split through.
Glenn, I would suggest you get a full set of plans for Chris and Kristen, and, between now and our meeting on the 28th, we can get everything resolved and we can move forward at that point.
Okay, but on the main, what would you, I guess what I'm asking you guys, just so I don't waste time with the engineer, what would you guys rather see? Would you rather see, like this original plan, has it coming out on this side of the road and Ring Road is about 295 foot separation? If you say that's good, we kind of do away with that problem that Kristen was talking about coming through the buildings and these.
yeah, but I saw you going behind the buildings there to get more separation and.
No, that's on the main, I'm talking about, on the actual line. We ended up bringing it over here to get more separation on that new set of plans.
Or was that to bring those services in the back side of those
No,
units there?
No, it was to,
We'll have to run in between them and around spaghetti there. So,
yeah. But separation wise, I guess, so if the main makes more sense and we have the 295 feet or whatever we had to begin with from here to here, are you guys good with that much separation? If the main's cleaner and it's on the street and it makes the lines work better? Because you guys have the final question.
Yeah.
Kristen, do you have an opinion?
Yeah, it doesn't gain a lot shifting it one house away in terms of it being a loop. It's still not really a real loop either way. It's kind of just looping a dead end. It's not connecting two separate water mains. It's looping back on themselves. So if there's no other way to loop it, then that's the only resort. If it were me, I'd rather have them stay in the road and not go between and behind someone's house.
I agree.
So the difference in feet isn't significant enough.
No, it's not significant in terms of looping.
That's why you run a meeting.
No, I think you run a greater risk of negative impact to people with what they want to do in their yard.
I agree. I didn't like the idea of
And
them going
impinging on the
behind.
easement.
If
All
it's
the
possible
stuff is
to do it in front, it's better for everybody.
It's stagnant, so it still keeps flowing.
Well, there's gonna be flow in there.
Yeah. I'm saying, so if we stay with that, where we were there, we stay in the road layout, and then we have the other one just in the backyard that we're not tying anything off of, so all your ties are,
Correct, the other one's just kind of a trunk line,
Yeah.
we're running that easement for loop, and there's be no services off it,
right,
it's just,
exactly, so.
it minimizes the need to have to go in there.
And then like I said, I'll have them clean this up and put it on plans, and so you can see the tie-ins. And what, 5-foot separation on your main? Is that what you guys said? 3 taps?
I think it's minimum 6 feet.
Okay.
Kristen, would it be beneficial where they do, I think in other areas that have done loops similar to this, we've had them install a cross tie where that loop is, that's with a gate that's closed to maintain that circulation, but in the event that we had to take and utilize that, we could isolate things there with a triple gate and open a cross tie. Is that something we should look at? I know that Barrows Brook, we did that. Up in Tall Timbers, we did that.
What does it do for you, Chris?
It gives us a little insurance policy, so should there be a failure in that pipe, it's gonna still give us that loop circulation at the end.
Mhm.
Without, and be able to isolate that for repair without disrupting service to residents. So
Yeah,
it's just like triple gating, it gives us that avenue to be able to divert
'Cause I
water
mean-
different ways.
Because normally if we triple gate here, if we tap and sleeve on the other side, we'll come on the property line, put a shut
So
off
this
on
this
that.
would be way up in the cul-de-sac, so where you are,
Yeah,
up in your cul-de-sac, your main line runs up.
Yeah.
And then you go around your cul-de-sac, and then you come back to run back, and it's just your trunk line.
Yeah.
Right there, you do a cross tie.
yeah, but all that would benefit is like if you had to shut the property off, all you'd be doing is maintaining the loop in the amount of time we'd be doing a repair or somebody would be doing. a
Correct, yeah,
repair.
it still gives people adequate, potable water service and
Yeah.
fire protection. So it keeps the fire hydrants alive, and we can isolate a smaller area.
Right, but if we have 500-foot shut offs or whatever, we have a shut off here and there.
Well, every 1,000 feet, you gotta put a gate in it.
Yeah, but what if we do want to talk about tying and we just have a shut off so that it can be shut off to the backside on the side of the loop.
And it also has an effect on when you do hydro flushing.
Yeah.
You can isolate things,
Okay,
and you pull water from one way to flush the main,
okay.
as opposed to constantly going all the way. So I know other areas, it's been like that, the subdivision they put in down there, was it, Harris's Lane,
Mhm.
that's done the same way, and then they did from way up 27, that up by Country Way. to that
Yeah, I just never seen it
cross,
done before, so I was wondering what the reason was for it. Yeah.
It's, I don't see, it's closed, the gate would remain closed
Mhm.
unless we needed to for hydrant flushing or in the event of.
So where does this gate go, in the middle of the cross pipe, or is it?
Where your cul-de-sac runs up, you
Yeah.
run around your cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And then you split off out of the road to go on that trunk line behind all those lawns.
Yeah.
Those houses, in the street.
Yeah.
You just put in a T and just bottom off right there. You
Okay,
just have a T that goes between two main ties,
Okay.
two together.
Okay.
So, I mean, what's your thoughts on something like that, Tristan? Doing a cross tie up, and is there any benefit to it with that type of a run, or is it?
Yeah, this isn't that big of a development, so it's really whatever works for you. Because I think just having the two ways to feed them. So if you lose one of the lines, you can still feed them through the other loop area. That gives some redundancy right there.
so I was saying even the back units, if we're feeding from the ring road, say if it's happened, so we have a shut off on the property. If we put a shut off all the way past them last 3 buildings, it gives you the ability to shut that section down if something happens back there and so on the rest of the
Like-
road.
Just recently, the Tall Timbers subdivision, they had a leak that would come and go in a cul-de-sac, and they did two 12-inch mains that went up, they came around, and in between the two bends is a hydrant. And there was one main line gate there, and we had a leak, it would come, it would go, come and go, turn up being that they damaged the gasket with a set of forks
Oh, yeah.
of the belt. So, I think it was, I don't know, it would come and go, the leak,
Yeah.
and then finally we found out what it was, but it was tough for us to make that repair, but with isolating the gates, it was a lot easier to, isolate, have fewer houses with level water for that duration of repair.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing with, what do you say, if we have a shut off at Ring Road, and we come around the loop, and we have a shut off after that building, that allows you to shut that side of the loop off, and then everything forward of that, because all 13 of the buildings up front,
Yeah.
It's just something to think about.
Yeah, just plot out where your mainline gates would be, I'd love to see a mainline gate up in the cul-de-sac, somewhere near a hydrant, so we can, on the
Yeah.
high, on the hydrant would be on the high
Yeah.
side, so we can purge air out of it if we need to,
Yeah,
and then one midline.
I think you got a hydrant down the center, so if we get the shut off down on that downward slope towards that
Yeah, so you
hydrant.
put a mainline gate halfway up that road, and then in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Where you end your
Yeah.
main that has services on it, put a gate in there. so-
Yeah, and like I say, the only reason why I'm saying is if we get it up here somewhere, you guys can shut it off there and shut it off there and just single line, which should be pretty clean, straight run, that should really never have a problem, not that any of them would, but, you know, it just gives you the option to, if you had any problem in any of that stuff out back or on that side, you can shut down just those 3 buildings, 6 units, and the rest of them are on.
Sure.
Okay. So separation wise, just so you guys are more comfortable keeping it on the road, is that what you were saying, Kristen?
Yes, but you still need to maintain the required separation between the services and then the distance from the leach fields to the water service.
That's what, well, no problem doing that, and then like I say, it's the main loop, like I say, if we do it this way, then it stays clean, it's in the road layout,
What are your other utilities gonna be? They're gonna be overhead or underground?
underground, and,
So you gotta maintain separation for all your telephone, cable, electric,
Yeah.
gas, anything you
Yeah.
have in there for that too.
we usually run there's no gas, it's gonna be electric, we'll run that right up, they're considered condos, even though they're just convexes, so that's all gonna be done in concrete pipe, so.
But all the laterals too going each unit,
Yeah,
you're gonna maintain
Oh, yeah,
great
no,
separation
yeah,
on
no,
all your service
yeah,
lines,
yeah.
on all your communications and electric.
We usually come in with the water on one side, you know, electric and gas on the other side, 'cause it's gotta be fed from one side, you can't feed it from two, so.
Mhm.
It will, water will come in on one side, it's no gas, electric will come in on the other side. Cause they don't want like 2 meters on
Yeah.
the building, 'cause they don't want, they shut it off on fire. But I'll get plans out, like I say, I'll even pick them up and bring them to you. And then, I will have them adjust those, was there anything else you could see?
No, I'm just going through other things that we talked about, the loop, the gate valves and hydrant labeling, just so on the plan, just clean that up so we know, you know, what's a mainline gate, what's a hydrant
Mhm.
gate. 5-foot separation between services. And then 10-foot separation from all your wastewater.
Yep.
Stuff, so like I said, that lot 1, 2, and 3. Those first couple there, it's really, really busy there.
Yeah, we can, so on this side, I mean, we're 10 foot off the property lines to make this thing work. So we just don't have room to get a line through there. We can clean it up and keep it, you know, keep separation on our service lines, so you're clean in the trench and you stay on their own property lines. And then, like I say, up here, I mean, we'll just do the separation on the gates if we have to. She doesn't have a lot of room for septic. I'll just tell them to address it so you get the separation, you guys are looking for whatever.
Yeah, and you know, the gate, the service boxes have to be separated, but also that separation has to be continuous underground from the tap to the service box into the house, not just cluster them all together and fan them out and then bring them back together.
Yeah, but once we get on the private service part of the thing, we should be able to have 2 lines in the trench a couple feet apart. What difference does that make to you if anything's done as private property?
Because I believe our rule is 5 feet.
But on private property, when you're coming into that, that's one lot with 2 buildings, so when you're requiring 2 lines, but we can't separate, it's the same, it's 1 building on one lot, it's 2 units on 1 lot.
Yeah.
So those 2 units, those would always be around the same trench because we're coming into the building in one spot, you know?
Yeah, but how do you take them if you get in and do a repair and they're side by side?
We can do a repair, I mean, it's just.
And it's,
Well, actually, like I say, on that, on these units here, like I said, 2 would be on this lot, 2 would be on that lot. We'll separate everything
it's just gonna,
as
you
we go
know,
on. It's just if we come to a spot where there's a septic system and it's like a private service, usually if we're in a trench, we can keep it tight in the trench, because it's never on you guys, because it's, you go into the gate and the line, when it gets on the property line, you don't know, whoever has to take care of it, you know? So when we get into something like that, if we have to just meet the separation, I'm saying.
yeah, but we have the separation for, you know, not just for town's benefit of having to make a repair, but also for the property owners repair. You know, if they have to make a repair and they think, oh, there's only one service here, next thing you know, there's no one crossing going to the other unit.
But it's a duplex, so I mean, the lot right on the same side.
Ideally, is, you know, in a perfect world, I'd like to see, you know, if this is a duplex, this is A and this is B,
Yeah.
their line come in here and here, not all of them come in here and shoot around all over the place, spaghetti serves, and it's
I
just,
know
it's not
that.
how we do things, it's not how we wanna see things, you gotta move away from
I
spaghetti
understand.
services because it
It
just
ain't
makes
really a
it too
spaghetti
busy.
service, because I mean, it's not a single family, you know, it's a duplex. So that locks on there, so if you're servicing that building, be the same as like some towns will let us service it with one line and put 2 meters in the basement. Like we'll upgrade to an 1.5 inch line or something, you know? Then you got one line coming into each building, you put your 2 meters in the building, and the other one, we put them under the floors to the other side, that's how we do them in all the places, and it's an easement, you know?
Yeah, but what we need to is we need to have control, so if unit A is vacant and for the winter.
Yeah.
And unit B's occupied, but we can't shut water off to both of them. You know
Well,
what
I'm saying, like, a lot of these units, we come in to a basement, and there's an easement on that line, and we have 2 meters in the basement.
Yeah, but outside curb stop, so we get to shut the water off outside of the building, we have control to shut the water, whether it's.
Yeah, so you, okay, yeah,
Vacancy,
yeah,
freeze up,
Right,
non-payment,
yeah.
anything, we need to have
Yeah.
individual unit control
yeah,
outside.
yeah. Like I say-
Each unit has to have its own exterior curb.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing, that's why I'm saying, to meet that sometimes, and I mean, it's very few lots, I mean, it's this one, you know, I mean, you just need to work with me on something like that, just because that's one spot that we're getting by a septic. Everything else can have all the separation you want, you know?
Yeah, but it's, the rules and regs were implemented for a reason, it's for sanitary cross-connection concerns, you know, with the separation, and then it's also for, you know, again, you're gonna make a repair or adjustment or anything, that there's adequate space to excavate.
Yeah.
See what your engineer can do and have him contact other guys if they have any questions, but I think we're pretty solid in what our expectations are.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one though, I mean, I have to figure something out on this one
Yeah.
right now, so I mean, you know, it's, and I understand you, like I say, just on the service part of it, and like I say, curb connections, I mean, on the service part of it, just stay away, I mean. Tight, you know,
Yeah, talk to your engineer, see what he can make work, and come back.
we've already done that, I'm trying to figure out what I can make work on this, so if you guys are gonna stick to that, I gotta figure something out, because. You know,
That means-
you've only got 10 foot to these property lines right here, and we're getting the services in, you know. 11 or 12 feet to the septic system, so we can keep tight to the property
I
line.
think you're trying to squeeze a little too much in
No,
there.
I don't think that, I don't think
You
it's
know,
that at all.
maybe go back to your drawing board and talk to engineering and come up with another proposal, but it just, well, that, like I said, that not to, you know, we've done the same for everybody else, if every other developer's come in and done a similar thing, we make them make it work,
Mhm.
you know, and we haven't given them exceptions.
Yeah, I know that, but it's also, like I say, that, you know, on a 40B project, it's,
There were 40B projects
yeah, but
also,
then
so.
you know, there's like, they cram these things in a little more and allow you some leeway to give up the low income housing and stuff, so the idea is to work, if you come to a little area that is an issue, it's not the whole project, you kind of try to help out and address one small portion, because I don't see anything else on here that these septics here, and this plan also got the septics all into yards and spread out instead of dumping, you know, 10,000 gallons into one corner, so that's better for the town too, you know, it's spread out over 17 acres, you know, so. I mean, I'll talk to Bob and see what we can do with that, because I'm not looking at the new plan time from you too, 'cause I'm not sure.
Sure,
They
yeah,
might have changed things on that one, I don't know if this is the same, you know.
Get us a set plan as soon as you can.
yeah, so I can drop those
yeah.
off, I can review them with clarity, that'd be a great point to start working on.
And your other points in there is,
No, I think we kind of touched on all the things that Kristen had brought up and your engineer had, formulated a response to, you know, the loop water we discussed.
Okay.
The gate valves and labeling them, we discussed that. Talk about the separation on those primary lots 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And that was the thing, so I think everything you get kind of pretty much figured out at just the lots 1, 2, and 3.
yeah, I'll look at the I'll print a set plan at the shop tomorrow and look and see if there's more of a detail on the lines on the new plan, I don't know if there's.
If you drop a set off here, that'd be fantastic.
I'll drop that one off, that way at least we can be looking at it, and looking at the same thing, because I didn't know you guys didn't have the full set.
Thank you, Glenn.
All right, thank you.
Take
Have
it
a good
back.
night. We'll see.
Rick?
So Rick Lincoln with Cushman Farms. It's been a while since I've been here. Here is, so we don't have that level of detail, obviously, so we're not even there yet. Just kind of looking for availability. This is a most recent set of plans that just went to, Patrick. I also brought some 11 by 17, so you guys can just keep going.
Who's Patrick?
He's your, the town's civil peer reviewer. Yeah,
Must be new.
he did Rockland, and he does a lot of towns. So the big change is that it's still coming up off of Marion Drive here. You know, there's a doggy daycare, and then it's cutting out to Copper Beach. So Copper Beach here. So we cut the whole development here. We're not running it all the way down to Cushman. Variety of reasons. It's still 2 buildings. And just my math to just give you a sense for what I think the actual flow is going to be. Demand. So, you know, like 15,000 gallons.
Then you talk 15,000 gallons of domestic use water or wastewater?
Domestic use. We typically, as you know, the Title V at 110 gallons a day, then coming in at like 48, 47% with all, but I just use 55%, for actual. That makes sense. Right now, for water purposes, she's got it coming in here, looping out here. And I just had this conversation with her this morning, running down this way and this way, she's got it dead ended.
Who's she?
I'm sorry, Megan,
I don't know.
my engineer.
Oh, gotcha.
Should have said comment though. That can be looped if we had to. This is Thomas Street is a paper road, so we do have the ability to just loop the whole thing if we wanted to. If a dead end like that is right. I saw it. That's why I mentioned something to her. So she's the engineer, not me, but I had a funny feeling that was. Then we have the land out there. So it's 2 4-story buildings. I don't really remember. We had tested the hydrant pressure out here at one point, but I've done that a long time. So
How many units in each building?
It is 72.
72 each?
72
Yeah.
total.
68 and 4.
Oh, wait, 6,
Yeah.
I'm confused. 72 into,
No, 144.
oh, okay.
The sewer department doesn't want to get town sewer in there?
I'm sorry.
The sewer department doesn't want town sewer in there to grab all this? Say Title V?
That's just Title V. Yeah, so I met with sewer and they're sending me a will serve letter. So that has already been done. And then you folks can next.
You showing you water here, what size services you run into these buildings?
See, I think on that's what I mentioned, the level of these plans has just got TBD and then we typically just work just like, that's why I learned a lot from him. So, I mean, you spec out what you want and, we'll put it on the plan.
Yeah. Is this up Marion?
Can you look at that on the map for us?
That's Marion,
It's coming up Marion right here.
correct. Way up at the end,
Yes.
Okay.
right in front of the T station.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
see,
right here. So this area right there.
yeah, do you see Copper Beach?
Up Beach right there.
Yeah, so we're just to the right of that.
On this area here.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
between Copper Beach and the railroad.
And I see the tracks on here, that's what's.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't put, so the tracks actually are down here.
What's the primary access gonna be traffic wise, off Marion Drive or off of Cushing?
The two-way is off of Marion, going out on the Copper Beach, I did one way to try and be kind to the neighborhood.
So you're gonna have the ability to drive through that area from
Both are gated.
gated, okay.
Yeah,
That's what I was wondering, because
oh
that's
yeah,
big.
that has been drilled in my head.
And a
A
red
whole
flag.
bunch of people, because I think, was it Copper Beach, I think it was a throughway at one point, long time ago, and it didn't work out.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, just curious. So there'll be like a fob system or something at both sides. It's a little wider than it would need to be over here on Copper Beach, but it's for fire, you know, so.
These are apartments, correct?
Correct.
Any thought in the process about going to condominiums?
I'm doing one in Mattapan right now, and banks don't like condominiums, so it's hell to finance.
Wasn't the question I asked. The reason I'm asking is that if there is any potential, now or in the immediate future, that these 144 units are gonna be some condos and some apartments, or all one or all the other. If it's a condo, each one has its own service, has its own meter.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
And
I think what Bud's trying to tell you is upfront, if this is ever gonna be a plan in the future, you wanna put separate meters now, because it'll be a nightmare later.
Right. And
We've run into
I've done
that.
a bunch of these,
We've
so
run into that.
I do understand what you're saying. That's, I've never seen it, and I would have no intention of doing it.
we have seen it.
Right.
Have you?
Treetop condominiums were treetop apartments when
When they were built,
they were built.
it's one service.
I have done, you've heard of the Eamon Demons, you know, where we had one service, and it's that you can measure the flow on the, so 1 meter from the town, but if I wanted to separately meter, you put these Eamon Demons everywhere, and it's a wireless, so it gives me the ability to bill the tenants.
Yeah,
The only
You
one
know,
we
it's
built-
behind the meter.
The only one we bill is you.
Correct, right.
What you
You
do.
don't care what
Yeah, what
We
you
don't
do
care what
after
you
that,
do.
we don't care.
Yeah, 72 units in which each building, that's not our concern.
Yeah.
Our concern is that if there's any vision of either one of these buildings being converted from apartments to condos,
Separately meter,
you need to plan it now.
yeah.
Because whoever buys the condo or buys the building to turn into condos is going to have a nightmare. Because we will not approve it.
Well, the other reason I think the separately meter, the advantage is that I've been told a long time ago that you're better off charging rent, and then the people pay the utility. It's their utilities. If you try, and then I did 2 in Hanover, and we did the master meter thing, but if you try and bump the rent, it's not the same, you know, so you're much better off separately metering, you know. Some old timers told me that, you know, big apartment guys, like, oh, I just never thought of it. So they may be separately metered, you know,
So
so.
you need to make sure that in the plans that you're asking us ultimately to approve, you work through that process.
You just wanna make sure you know ahead of time what the nightmare will be, should you not.
Yeah, which typically is what I've done in all of them, but I think that's kind
And this isn't
Okay.
Mattapan.
of. Right.
Off of River Street.
But it's in a nice section of Mattapan.
The beautiful section of River Street. I know where you are.
That's on Harvard Street, where the cemetery is up there.
In there too.
Okay. I bet they will be separately metered. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, it may be a plumbing nightmare as you develop.
Yeah, there's a
but-
cost,
Yeah.
right? Right. I'm working with sewer because, I mean, we can tap into the force main, but they, the guy had a pretty decent idea where, of course, you're crossing MBTA, but to gravity and drill it under the tracks and with gravity right down to the plant. So I promised them I'd give it a shot.
That's a real advantage of location. Plant location.
Right, right, and we're elevated up, I mean, it's a perfect setup for that, you know. You know, and of course, there are fire sprinklers and all that stuff.
What size domestic lines are you looking at proposing?
I'm not sure.
You know, 'cause you need to get some proposed water stuff on there that they can review and comment on and move forward from there. And right now it's the 8-inch, as she says, 8-inch water again. You know, we said in the previous discussion, it needs to be 12. So,
And the dead end main doesn't work, so if you can
Right.
run it up there and then back down that paper street and then tie into that, makes a lot more sense.
That whole cross tie thing you mentioned, I wonder if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna, if I come in here, right, you
Yeah.
loop all the way around here, would you?
you need the separation to get the flow. I mean, that close enough to get the flow, just like a lollipop dead end. That's why when you heard him talking, it was like 300 feet of separation with 2 taps. That gets your flow, your circulation.
Okay.
Down the street, but just to come loop it back into itself, you don't have 2 draw points. So if you have 2 different mains that you tap off,
Yep.
it's ideal.
Which is what we're doing.
Two different taps, is
Right.
ideal,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna get that flow, that redundancy.
So you eliminate the water main going down there and you.
I just run it all the way around, grab this building, come right back up to Paper Street.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes sense.
That paper street, is that, the private way? Is it laid out by the town?
Yeah, I don't think it was laid out by the town, it goes way back.
You'll have to make sure that there's an easement there recorded that.
We can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Worst case is I can kind of keep it over here on the side, right here. So I can stay out of the way. Actually, the town owns this little rectangle, but landlocked areas that nobody has access to.
And how are you getting the access to Copper Beach from the woods? Right in the middle of that.
Well, this land goes with the development, so there's an easement across this parcel right here. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm looking at this house and that's the easement right against the back.
No, I wish she would turn those lines off. That's the limit of work that she puts everywhere and everybody starts, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had it with the landscape architect this morning. I'm like, no, don't pay attention to the yellow line.
Like if I owned that house, I really might be a little bit concerned. Yep.
Right. So there's I think it's 50 feet. You know, there's an easement coming off of Copper Beach.
This big, good changes in elevation. And you to look at the
Oh, yeah.
control lines.
Yep.
Now, all these roads will be private?
Correct.
Okay, again, that
With a
requires,
gate on either side.
okay, requires, recorded easements for everything for.
And typically with these 40Bs, especially on apartments, normally I'd come in with detailed, all, you know, right, with all of the bells and whistles on it, but in this, you're just trying to get the concept approved.
Start with the concept.
Right, ZBA approves it, you have your will serve letter, and then you go off to your construction docs and, you know, meet with you guys and everybody else, so. So I apologize for just it's general at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be looking to see more detail as far as size of pipes, locations going in, other utilities, separations.
And she probably has a lot of it, it's a 29-page plan
Yeah,
set.
I see that.
Right, so there's a lot of section details at the end, I didn't wanna busy at this point, but I can certainly send you over a full set. Let me find out what she's got in there first.
Yeah, something that's gonna be more descriptive as far as, where taps are gonna be to get water in there, where gates gonna be, where hydrants are proposed, where
Mhm.
FDCs are proposed, fire flow test, and is there adequate fire flow there to meet the 4-story demand?
Well, typically, if there's not, I have to do fire pumps, which I did in Hanover. At the time, there was 2 or 3 years ago, that was a quick conversation with somebody here, but I've not done a hydrant test out there yet.
So I think that's kind of a starting point, but I mean, correct, Kristen, that start with a fire flow test to see what they're dealing with for residual pressures and then kind of build off of that.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to start.
How late in the season do you allow it? I mean, we still have time.
Yeah, I think we should go up to like November, and once that's getting
Okay.
cold, we won't do them, because it's
Yeah.
too risky with ice, and you get a flush hydrants because of disruption, then we create
Yep.
more of a road hazard, that's going to a safety point. So,
And I can just use locals, right? Like, a wind or a.
no,
Foley or-
our engineer does it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do the fire flow test, that way we know what's going on, we know we can see what tank levels are, what pumps are running, and get a real accurate readout, so.
So I would book it with you guys?
Yeah, in conjunction with our engineer,
Okay.
yes, on her availability.
All right.
And get a baseline and then start designing, building off of that.
Something else we gotta get moving is we have another here.
Before we go too far, because it's been bothering me, you know it's been bothering me since 6 weeks ago, and it has nothing to do with this project. It was brought up to me last weekend, and someone asked me, we rushed through the vote to eliminate the restrictions on water hookups because of the potential demolition permit was going to be put into the mall for Costco.
Yeah.
That was some 6 weeks ago. To my knowledge, I still don't think any permits have been pulled for Costco. I still haven't heard from either one of you two a reasoning for the humiliation that you felt you wanted to put on me by holding a meeting at town hall for a vote that we knew what the vote was gonna be to begin. But you had to do it at town hall so you could have your friends and the sewer commission there, and post a police detail from another town so that I wasn't disruptive, or somebody wasn't disruptive. And yet, to my knowledge, Costco still hasn't done anything. And I'm just wondering where we are, since the rush was such a rush, and even the town administrator at the time had recommended that we wait until we got something from DEP, but the two of you chose not to do that. We had to make sure that the sewer commission was happy and they were there and smiling. And the humiliation that I had on my face, even though I wasn't quiet, I just, I'm still wondering why.
I'm sorry you took that personally. It wasn't meant to be personal.
You didn't.
And let me finish as well. And I am curious as well. I haven't heard anything since then as well. And I was kind of surprised to see things didn't occur in September, but I don't know the reason behind that. So I wish I could answer that as well, because I have the same curiosity. Anything else for Mr. Lincoln here at all, or are we all set for now? And we'll have some more plans for you in the future. We'll look forward to seeing what you get.
So can I request a will serve letter? Because I think
I'm not sure we want to do a will serve letter until we've had some plans to adequately look at, and fire flow is taken. I mean, there's a process that we need to go through to make sure that we're protecting the town in every aspect as we do. Are we opposed to working with you and giving you what you need? Absolutely not. But to put something in writing at this point, I think it's a little early in the.
That's fine.
I think the fire flow would be a big thing for us, 'cause
Right.
that's not the most robust section of town for water.
Okay.
We need to look at fire flows to get a sense.
Then
of
we
where
talk
they're
about
coming
fire pumps and all
Yep.
that stuff,
Yep.
so, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, all right.
And if you wanna reach out to me, I can work with Chris.
I was just gonna walk over there and see if we could set up.
Those two will put together the,
Yeah,
fire flow.
Probably best to just give us a call across, we can stay focused on this meeting and.
Okay, all right.
That'd be great.
And,
Thanks,
and
guys.
if you can, make sure that we get at least 2 full sets, so Chris can have one.
I will,
and
I'm
our
gonna
engineer
try
can
and,
have one.
I'll make sure all the details are there this next time.
Yeah,
so.
that'd be great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Kristen, you're up.
There we go. Got myself back off mute. Okay. Okay, so looking at the agenda, the first item is the Main Street Water Main Project. There are still a couple of punch list items that the contractor needs to address. There's 3 locations that require some loam and seed touch up to establish some vegetation. And then Chris noted that there's a depression or just a little dip at the end of Summer Street where it transitions from the new pavement to the old pavement. So we've notified the contractor about that and waiting for some response on their plan to correct those items. I sent Chris the detailed tie cards that we were able to pull together from the markups that Matt took, and we have some questions on those, Chris. You probably saw if you opened up the file.
Yeah, I was looking at it, trying to review, and I was trying to look at the tie cards and Matt's notes, trying to see if I could
Decipher. Yeah. Yeah.
Either work with them, I can kind of read it as chicken scratch a little bit, but some it's got me trying to figure which way to hold it and look at it.
Yeah. I thought you might have some better luck. I was hoping that maybe you had a training class in Matt's handwriting or something to help with that.
No,
So,
I'm still working on reviewing those, so hopefully
Yep.
tomorrow I'll be able to get through the rest of those and then go back and check my notes and look at what I have that Matt left there was with his day book.
Okay.
It's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, so that's almost done.
Oh, good thing
The-
they didn't roll and seed last week.
Yeah, that right. Yeah, they're getting a little tight on time for getting that done, but at least it looks like next week there might be some rain too. We get the cooler weather, so it's a better time. They wouldn't have been able to do it 3-4 weeks ago. It was still too dry. So now's a good time.
Again, one other thing, Kristen, if I had known CC was gonna be in the area checking those punch list items, I would have absolutely made a point to meet their representative out there to discuss and review things and point things out, rather than them just CC breezing in town and out and not saying, hey, look, we're in town, the office is right around the corner. I mean,
Right, I agree. Yeah, no, they do seem to breeze in and they don't communicate. And I think if they had communicated before they did the previous list, they probably would have been able to address everything, or maybe not the seating, but the depression at Summer Street at that point,
yes.
rather than just saying, oh, we don't think there's a problem. If the client thinks there's a problem, then there's a problem. So, but yeah, they elected not to communicate when they were out doing that work, and here we are. So on the new well project, DEP did give the site examination review letter. So that means that the work can progress to the next phase in that. Kleinfelder is having their surveyor survey in the exact location of the test well that is the one that we intend to proceed with. The way the test well was originally located was off of GIS mapping. And we just want to make sure before the next step happens that there's a minimum of 400 feet from the property line to where the test well actually is. It seems like it's possible that it might be a little too close to the property line that's down by where the transmission main easement is. and it might need to get moved a few feet to make sure that the entire zone 1 is town-owned property and not into that easement. So, like I said, they have their surveyor going back out to survey that point because he surveyed in the property lines, but he didn't survey in the location of the test well for some reason. So once we find out that, we'll determine what this next step will be. But either way, there'll be more test well work that's happening. So whether it's the exact location where the existing small diameter test well is and they do the larger size hole, or if we have to do something else, then we'll deal with that at that point. So we'll have another update from them next week, but I'll check in with them about the surveyor status this week to make sure that's expedited. Any questions on that? Okay. The Mass DEP Water Audit Grant Program, they released their request for interest document. So that's involves a fairly simple application form that you fill out with a letter of interest. And so I drafted up what I could and sent that to Chris and Stacy for their review. That's those letters of interest and the application form are due October 30th. So there's a little bit of time here. You basically just want to position yourself as well as you can in case there's, too many that they can't award them to everyone. So to include a little bit more about the work that you've done and are still doing to try to reduce the unaccountable water and express, why they should pick you guys over somebody else.
Oh, all that information looked great, Chris. Thank you for putting that together. Is there anything that is needed from our office here to keep moving that forward?
Well, the expression of interest letter, you guys should put that on letterhead. And that would be something that would be good to do. It's emailed into Mass DEP, so it's pretty straightforward. I put you in as the primary contact and Stacy in as the secondary contact, just in case they can't get a hold of you for some reason when they do the announcements. But this is a program that DEP pays for it, so they identify consultants and they'll assign a consultant to you. So there's no funds that go back and forth between you. You're not signing a contract like with some of the other grant projects. The town's not signing a contract with DEP to have funds going back and forth. This is all handled, the funding side is all handled by them, but they will require you to be involved throughout the project, helping to provide the required data to their consultant, being involved in meetings when they need to and questions and such. So they did have a pretty quick turnaround time on wanting to be able to provide the data by early February. So that's in that commitment letter and the application form. So that'll be a good time to start preparing for that over the winter.
I did notice that we're in Kingston's in tier 1 versus tier 2 or 3. Does that make it more advantageous for us or less?
They didn't include how they weight them, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But you're on that tier list. You're an MBTA community that actually adopted that or voted that condition in. So that gives you extra points. And having the higher unaccountable water demonstrates a need for it.
Anything else, Kristen? You all set?
That is it.
All right, thank you so
So,
much.
Kristen, is the letter of interest and the completed grant application sent in at the same time, the same place?
Yes. Yeah, they both get emailed to Jen Durso at DEP.
Okay.
All right, Chris, you up?
So I've been in touch with town council and the May family with that donation to the water department. And I believe we just need to take and do a roll call vote and sign the acceptance of that. And then I can submit that to town council for recording in the deed.
Okay. So, can I do the motion or should one of those? Remember? Hereby move the board accept the donation of land known as 37 Clearing Farm Road, Kingston, Mass, shown as Lot 8A on the plan of land titled Definitive Subdivision, Gurnet Woods, Kingston, Mass, dated July 12th, 1989 by Kohler and Colantonio Incorporated, which plan is recorded with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds in Book of Plans 43, page 338, for water supply purposes as authorized under Chapter 239 of the Acts of 1885, and further to authorize the chair, Robert J. Erlandson, to execute, enter into any and all documents necessary to effectuate the acquisition of said property. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Then it has to be a roll call.
Okay, we'll call Richard Loring,
Affirmative.
Mr. Casco,
Affirmative.
and affirmed by the chair as well, so just a yes. As of October 14, 4, vote 3 and 0. Okay, we're all set then?
I think all three of you guys have to
You
sign
think you
that.
have a problem?
Well,
Was there a signature for that? I didn't see a signature.
Yeah, why don't you sign beside the yes, and yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sign right over here.
There's been a lot of back and forth. It's been a project. You know?
Thank you for doing that.
A worthwhile project, you know.
Yes.
Piece of land that's, one is
Thank
the
you.
water department's name on it is important.
Send them a thank you.
So
E-process, so it doesn't matter.
E-post.
He got what he wanted.
it's good to get that
Yeah,
straight away. Verizon Wireless has been in communication with our office to, with great interest, to put Verizon Wireless cell equipment on the Elm Street water tank. Currently, they don't have any equipment there. I'm sorry, Stacey, you all set with that?
There's one more thing that just Bob has to sign. Just that. Today's the date, 10/14.
So Verizon Wireless has great interest on leasing some space on the Elm Street tank. I've gone back and forth with Verizon Wireless and Town Council on, they would just want to do set up a site assessment to see if it's gonna be a viable site for their equipment and that it's a clean, suitable site. So in the back here, we're looking for a signature to give them just access to the tank, be able to go in and see if it's a suitable site. Once that's done, they say, yes, it is a suitable site, then they can get into negotiating rental terms and rates based on that.
They got negotiate with town council, town
That's-
manager, or us.
Typically, that's done with the board of selectmen and the town administrator.
Okay,
And nothing gets put into motion without consent and agreement with the board of water commission and the board of selectmen. They did provide a proposed lease agreement with cost. I talked to town council and they said that is way below what the market rates are currently. And substantially less than what we collect now from the existing tenants, so that's something that would have to be worked out, and negotiated based on.
I suspect that's how they start out.
Sure, yep, see what it is compared to existing contracts we have with existing carriers on the tank. And then based on what town council recommends for appropriate rates. So,
I'd like to make a motion to have Chris sign this as the tenant, not property owner, but the superintendent, and he'll be the one person, would be around should there be any other problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. moved and still voted if that's what we need to do.
So Chris will sign this
Yes.
and, Bobby, Bud, you made the motion to,
I did.
is that seconded?
Second.
Yep.
Alright, take care of that.
Thank you.
Our Q3 samples for the DEP have been collected and submitted to the labs for analysis. So that's good to get that done. We're now into Q4, so moving right along. The road crew mentioned that the guys have been working very well, very closely with the highway department with their ongoing paving projects. Pre-marking gates, getting gate box covers loose, providing rises. So I just wanted to make sure that it's noted that, you know, there is great communication with acting superintendent Sean Turner and his foreman Adam. We're working very well, you know, communicating, you know, asking us to keep us informed of things as they go through their several lengthy resurfacing projects throughout town. Like, you know, all crews have worked very well together. I think that's important. It's renewal time for drinking water licenses. All the guys have completed their continuing education hours and they're in the process of submitting their applications for renewal. I've encouraged the eligible staff members that can go for full status to do so. I strongly encourage them to go to full status instead of OIT. So, I can't
How
force them
many
to
is
do it.
that?
Right now, it's one member that's eligible to go to full status. Other employees, they haven't served enough time. There's a certain criteria you have to meet the DEP.
But you're comfortable that they're heading in the right direction, motivated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so I encourage the guys to better themselves any way they can. So instead of just taking monotonous classes you've taken before, I tell them, go get another license, go get the next grade, go get an additional license that's going to better yourself. You know, you never know what door may open tomorrow for anybody. So that's good to get that done there. That's about all that I have. Moving on to new business.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you tell them the new truck?
Oh, yes, the new truck did arrive for the
No,
foreman.
we signed this, you know.
Yeah, so we do have that. It should be, I just got all paperwork squared away today with the insurance company to get that registered hopefully tomorrow. They should make the transition into the new truck that will be a better, more roadworthy, reliable truck for them, but be able to respond to if they have a water urgency needed.
the used business, the meter programs, looking at all this stuff, the core and main, the census stuff. Is everyone in agreement that they're like old technology? They're like, seem to have like that extra infrastructure we didn't need. Does that kind of throw them out of the loop? My question is, I know mass installations sound like they have a good system with the cell sort of stuff. What's the advantage of that compared to what Badger has? Badger seems to have something similar, but is there, what's your take on those two?
The mass installations works with any and all cell carriers, whereas Badger is kind of application specific to AT&T, Verizon. So if there's a merger or anything like that, you run the risk of losing that service.
Some of them did kind of with that.
Yeah.
They were also gonna cost about $60,000 a year for cellular servicing fees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was another big catch with the two other vendors, that they did have additional yearly fees that were quite amount of them.
I think the free pilot program's a big deal. Yeah. And mass, what's it called?
mass installation.
Yeah, they're offering a free, and the others either charge or didn't offer it. And I think that's a really important thing, because you need to do batch shell works. Is this really what we thought we were buying into before we then go and do the entire town?
Sure.
Makes
Well,
sense.
and just to clarify, Badger did offer $500 pilot program, which if we went with them, I think they said they would credit it back. So technically it was free, but it required a little bit more work than just installing the meter.
Thoughts, Bud?
No, I just think that, we have to rely heavily on Chris and Stacy because they're the ones that have to deal with them on a regular basis. We have to look at the financial end of it and how we are gonna move forward in any one of the three. And we've got to look at what DEP is saying as far as the upgrading, testing, rehab of any of the larger meters. Still waiting on a response from DEP from that initial meeting we had. And until we get that, we really can't do too much, but we need to think about it as we move forward. Not so much a town meeting in a month, but as we start to plan town meeting for April, we need to have a solid plan on how we're moving forward, not only for the meter replacement and how we plan to do that, but also where we are with the new well and how we're funding that or what we're looking for funds for that. And I think we need to sort of push Kristen to push the consultant to move a little bit quicker with some finite money items so that we can start to look at it. Because we don't want to be looking April 1st saying, okay, we have to come up with, wait a minute, how many million? That's not really good planning.
So what's your suggestion for deadlines for that? February?
I mean,
Earlier?
Mass Installation had proposed doing like 500 meters a year. That was with their own installation, right?
Yes.
Which was like just kind of start. And that would be approximately $200,000. So you're looking at a pretty hefty investment.
Well, and that's 500 basically residential meters. That's
Right.
not looking at what DEP may be requiring for the larger size meters. And
Right.
we need to put that into that package.
I think, something that we should also consider is entertaining discussion with the sewer department as far as the cost of these new meters go. Because the
It's
meters
their
aren't,
register as well.
it's not just our register for accounting for the water, it's also what their sewer bills are based on, that generates their revenue for them. So I think it would be appropriate to discuss with this board of sewer commissioners that, hey, look at, meters that are in the town sewer area, we're looking for you to defray some of this cost, because it's the accuracy and accountability of that water also is immensely tilted towards their revenue. It's their revenue generator as much as it is our revenue generator.
That's true, but you don't necessarily want to split who's responsible for payment. So we may need to come up with a innovative way of getting the sewer to underwrite some of it, but the contract between whoever we go with
It's between us and them.
is
Oh, yes.
between
No,
us
but
and them.
it could be treated like a shared cost,
Yes,
like we do with all the other departments that.
Yeah,
I think
Right.
that would be appropriate.
Right.
The amount of legwork that we do to collect delinquent revenues, that most of it is for the sewer department.
Yeah.
Where, a lot of these delinquent sewer bills, 3/4 of that delinquent bill goes.
I
to
hear what you're
revenue.
saying though, any
Yeah.
contract we have, and
Oh, yeah,
it's between
Yeah.
us and the
Yeah.
water department,
Yeah.
but on the back
Yeah.
end of it,
The decision on what meter we go with
yes, yeah,
is our decision.
Right.
Oh, yes.
right,
That's what I'm saying,
yeah,
is we don't need somebody else saying, I like the purple one, not the
no,
orange
and
one.
I hear you there, I get that, and
Yeah.
I don't think that was even a concern or thought.
No, I think it's gonna be even keel. We're not gonna have two different style meters because, we're gonna buy, we're uniform right across town. We're gonna have one network, one
I
system.
just wanna make sure that I've said what I've said at the meeting,
It's a
so
great point, it's a great point.
Do we want to move ahead with just the pilot though, or does it sound like, especially
I
with
think you
looking
move
at?
ahead with the pilot.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be good to take a look from and go after a couple of the business meters, and that was what they were talking about.
Yeah.
The meat and potatoes. is
We think that's where the money
the
is.
large
anyway.
meter.
The money's in the large meters. That's where we're losing the water.
And I think that's where our biggest, my biggest concerns are is with the meters at Town and Country and Conifer Green. So those are my, the one at Fulton Elderly Housing, that's a newer meter.
Yeah.
The mall, that's another great concern of mine. But those are the big ones that are really on my radar. That
Would we make that the pilot program doing the big meters?
I don't know how they would bring in those big meters, it's.
I'm not sure you could do that.
Yeah,
The other thing is, Conifer Green and Town and Country. We're basically, if that's what we're doing and we think we're losing a lot of water there, we're basically hitting probably a lot of the people who can't afford to end up paying more money to begin with. Maybe we need to look at taking certain group of meters that may be based on sewer, and a certain group of meters that are basically not sewer. And identifying how many there are in each one, and using that as a pilot program. So that we're not basically looking at everybody at Town and Country or Conifer Green and saying, guess what? We know you're losing money, so we're going to charge you more. That's not where I'm at.
Yeah, and I'd also like to see, what's the consumer interface as well. We wanna, test that out as well. I think even having.
I think that's one of the biggest reasons we do a pilot, is to see how this is gonna.
So I think we need to look at, as we move forward with a pilot program, let's figure out what the pilot program should be and not just concentrate it on the north.
oh, yeah, no, I think that's a fair statement, look at,
I mean,
talk to the sales rep and say, what's the best way, we're gonna rely on you as your experience, your guidance, we take, I'll pick on, Howard U condos, because it's pretty much the same building layouts and same occupancies, and you say, hey, we're gonna do 3 in their residential meters, we're gonna get a couple of businesses along Main Street that have a.
and
one
people
entry
down the
and
north
one-
can afford it anyways.
So, just to spread things around, some residential and some commercial meters. No, I'm not saying go after the big meters
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Yeah.
but Those are the ones of the greatest concern.
Well, you were gonna see if you could rehab some of the bigger meters.
We've done an accuracy test, I wanna see, what we have in the budget,
Yeah.
to see if I can get Reagan out again. Do some accuracy tests on the other, but it's tough, because, like at the mall, how do you really do that, because there's only 1 meter. At least with Town and Country, they have another flow, so we can isolate that 1 meter and do a flow test, there's 4 meters there. So we can take and, I see anything at Town, at Conifer Green, we can isolate things and see which going which way, but at the mall, it is what it is, there's no way around it.
You wanna do a motion then to authorize Chris to pursue the pilot? Some update in the near future.
Mass installation.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second,
All right, you got that, Stacy?
Authorize Chris to pursue pilot program with mass installation. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And who made the motion?
William
Bud
Bob.
did, I seconded.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, look forward to hearing about that. We got an abatement request.
Yeah, I got an abatement request from resident on Sanders Drive West due to a busted pipe that was behind a wall down in the hall space.
It sounds like the kind of thing that we generally charge the,
The sewer
the lowest.
commission did vote to abate their sewer portion of the bill.
So we know they have, a lot of times we get the receipt from the work
This
done. but-
was their first bill that they've received. I don't really know what their true actual usage. I
Yeah,
don't know how you want to do that. I don't know how sewer figured it out, or how they came to their.
so the first bill is
their
based on
deduction.
what usage though, was it?
It should be in there
Yeah,
highlighted.
it's, yeah,
Yeah, so see how
Oh,
they
yeah,
have
it's-
2
it's,
bills?
yeah.
Yeah, and one of them, the first bill, that was the previous owner.
Okay,
That first bill was only a partial, because they bought,
this one.
yeah, mid-April. So, I don't know.
So all right, I think there's a couple days worth from that. Yeah,
So I
I think
don't know
just
what
this,
the number is you wanna do.
I think just the final bill there, and the first bill, whatever, that's just.
well, I mean, we did pump and treat 56,000 gallons, so. we
I mean,
got-
I guess you just do it at the lowest tier.
We do it at the lowest price, because we pumped it in, I mean, it's not our fault that we lost 56.
That's just who wants a new meter.
I don't think so. All right, so who wants to make that motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
And so voted.
Okay, at the lowest tier.
Yep.
Okay.
And then just-
And there were just, 2 notices in there that we, at the end, very end, we had irrigation
Oh, yeah,
concerns with people,
installing new irrigation systems.
we're gonna have to follow up because I've not heard anything back from these individuals.
New construction or?
Yeah, one of them was on the corner of Elm Street and South, no.
No, it's up further than south.
Whatever that street is,
Yeah.
then you
Oh,
into,
no.
Yeah.
yeah, Fountain,
Mhm.
Fountain Hole. And the other one was on Maple Ave.
Maple Ave, yes.
So they couldn't have gotten a permit because they would have been told, right?
I give up.
I don't think there's a permit required
Yeah, I
to
don't think
install
so.
anything like that, it's people that, the ones that owns a landscaping irrigation company.
Is that something we could require as a permit so that companies know they might be this?
We have
Okay, good.
some irrigation companies that call us and like want to know if our rules and regs have been updated and they like, they know Kingston does them loud. Then I have other ones, you know, that
Just come in and do it.
come in and do it, they take the
Right.
residents' money and
Yeah. Do we have any ability to, is that town?
I mean, once you notify them, you can do the rules and regs say that you can charge them a fine for
Is the installer at, you know,
is the installer liable.
liable for anything like that? That's the question I would.
Should be, because I would think if you're
Is that a
a
town?
reputable
But
company, you
from
would
my
be looking
concern,
at the rules
bottom
and
line
regs.
is you can't do it, we said you can't do it, and you can't do
I
it.
don't, there's any, no one pulls a permit to install an irrigation, you just do it, so it's not, doesn't involve the
Yeah.
building department, the plumbing inspector, so it's just.
But
flies under
if
the
the
radar.
installers know they're gonna be liable, then they'll stop doing it. That's, that's the resultant solution. And they won't, if someone calls and asks them, they'll know that they're gonna be held to account.
Yeah, it's the homeowner though that's held to account.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I'd like to shift that, so.
And both Chris and I noticed the one at 375 Elm Street.
Literally 5 minutes from one another.
Yeah.
He called me, and he called me.
It was a big installation, and I've driven by there a couple of times since then, and the whole.
I mean, they were hand delivered the notice and our guys physically spoke to the people and they didn't look too happy. And they said that it would be attached to a well, but
Would be, show me where it is.
Show me
I
where the
haven't
well
seen
is.
anything
Yeah.
yet. In the other letter, I never got a response.
Do wells have to be registered?
But the board of health, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about irrigation.
I don't know what irrigation,
No, I don't
potable
think
water
they
does,
have-
but for irrigation, I don't know.
I would
I
see,
think a
but
wellhead.
they're supposed to have a sign saying, well, watered by well,
Yeah,
not well watered.
Well, exactly, what prevent, that's
Well,
my
well.
whole thing with that, what would prevent somebody from suing? It's a tricky situation, it's a sticky wicket.
Yeah. All right, there's something else?
motion to adjourn.
I gotta get moving.